Got an update on SIMP-FREE, a restaurant in NYC that was completely trashed by these 3 wild hyenas. I like to call them thing 1 through 3 because these baby bot bimbos, they come straight out of a Dr. Seuss book. Remember the ones who got upset about the $1.75 charge for extra dipping sauce? Well, now the owner of the business is speaking out. Said they left the restaurant with over $25,000 in damages. Take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click that notification bell for all updates. Won't waste any time. Let's go ahead and get into it. The owner of SIMP-FREE, she's coming out and she made a statement. Her name is Annalise Schlossberg and she is a young Jewish woman. She's only 23 years old. She's the owner of this restaurant. She opened it up back in 2020 during the pandemic. And now the young woman is saying that she's going to have to increase security at the business. Here's her quote. She says, "Not only were the women crazy, destructive animals, but everyone just stood by and watched. Everyone outside was recording and laughing and cheering on the girls, which is the most disgusting part." She went on to say, "I'm thinking I'll need a bouncer and protective glass across the entire counter so no one can just get through." If you all remember, we talked about the incident in part 1. If you didn't see that video, the link will be below. You got to check it out. But the women went ballistic, tearing down the plexiglass, ripping out the cash register, throwing glass bottles and stools at the employees, the cook having to call the police on them. And I told you before, 2 of the employees there, they suffered injuries. The man and the woman, both Hispanic, Rafael Nunez and Maria Baez. Rafael was 38 years old, Maria 33 years old. They threw tequila and hot sauce in Maria's face and she can barely see right now. Maria says she had to get a staple in her head after she was hit with one of the tablet cash registers. And ever since this incident, she has not been able to leave the house. Maria, understandably so, is very shook up by this whole thing because she didn't do anything to them. Maria said, "I'm barely 5 feet tall. I couldn't defend myself." She said, "I never felt so cornered." She also said that her co-workers couldn't jump in because she believes that the whole crowd would have probably came in at them. So Maria told Annalise that she is still afraid and she believes that she will never be the same. They had her head leaking. She had to get staples. Maria said, "I never thought this was something that would happen to me. I don't even feel like going to work because as a mother, my priority is getting home to my child." Now, as for the spicy Hispanic hyenas, they went to court on Friday and appeared before a judge. 2 of them, they'll go back to court next month and they allowed them to go home. But one of them, the head honcho, Miss Ozaria, she's being held at Rikers. She is still at Rikers Island. She was charged with multiple felonies, including hitting an officer. So she's being held on a $5,000 cash bail or a $25,000 bond. And since she wasn't able to pay $1.75 for sauce, I'm assuming she's going to be sitting on Rikers for a while, unless she's able to find somebody with a couple $1,000s to help her get out. I'll tell you, when this story first went viral, a lot of headlines read 3 black women. But as I started researching the situation, looking up the arrest records, the courts, Rikers, I found out these women don't identify as black and was marked Hispanic and other. And I was thinking, I know they didn't catch these spicies tearing up the restaurant, running wild. No way. So when I released a video here, I was one of the first people to correct everyone and report that they weren't black. So you have people asking, how do we know they're Latina? Hey, it's called research. Simply do your research and you will see what they are. You had Mo who was like, spicy Latinas nothing. These were black women. The dead giveaway, the twerking. Only black women have that as a weapon in their arsenal. Then you had Mr. Nice to Meet You who said, that ain't no dang Latina. Take a look closely. No Latina ever act up like this. Stop it. Change the title, you sound racist. Like, really? But if it said black women, it wouldn't be racist, huh? Even if that had been a lie. They weren't black women. I've said this so many times. Modern women, ratchet women, and bad behavior, it's not just exclusive to black women. That modern woman mindset comes in different races, ethnicities, nationalities, so you have to vet everyone to make sure they're a decent woman and not just assume because they're a certain nationality or ethnicity or race that they're good or bad. That goes for men and women. One thing I've noticed about Latinas, at least the ones that support this channel, they don't cry about it when a Latina is called out for bad behavior. They don't condone the bad behavior and will quickly point it out. Shout out to Latinsplaining. People like her, she's gonna call it out no matter what, if they're Latina or not. Shout out to Lisette, she's the same way. So the Latinas themselves are not offended. They condemn the behavior from these wild hyenas as well, and they still call themselves spicy. It wasn't the Latinas who had a problem. It was some of the men out there who had a problem. Luke says, spicy Latina? What a stupid racist tag. They all appear to be Afro-Latina and African-American. The vast majority of the comments on other sites tagged them simply as black. And that's what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to call them black too, when they're not black. He argued over and over with folks in the comments, and basically, yeah, it just all boiled down to him having an issue with the women being highlighted as Latina women. He wanted to dump all the bad behavior on black women, as if there's no way that those women could be Latina and act that way. Why they must be black. And so I'm like, nah, we're not going to play that game. If they're black, they're black. But if they're not, I'm not going to call them black. I'm going to call them what they are. Then you had Jose, who tried to kick them out of the Latina classification altogether. Jose says, Latinas don't wear weave as much. And clearly they all have weaves. I was confused. You called them Latina, yet the weaves look otherwise. So now you're not Latina if you wear weave? And even after telling him, hey, you know they went to jail, right? They have an arrest record. They're not black. That's when Jose says, people not telling the truth to a police officer, what a surprise. So now Jose, he's saying the women lied to the police about their ethnicities, insinuating that black women are acting up in NYC, and when they get arrested, they lie to the cops and tell them they're not black. This was crazy, right? I mean, he went on to say anything not to have to hold this L. And so they just kept up with the whole it's racist narrative. Neutral here, just don't call them spicy. That's cringe and arguably racist. Call them angry or dysfunctional. And that's when I had to ask this. Since when did spicy become racist? Spicy is usually used to describe Latinas. It's like they're hot, they're sexy. But when the spicy's running around tearing a club up, tearing up restaurants, spicy is now racist? And you know what? They'll even say they're not Latina at all. They must be black. Listen, everybody can be held accountable for bad behavior. Any gender, any race, ethnicity, nationality, political party. I'm not biased here. I'm a black woman and I don't have any issues holding black women accountable. I call a spade a spade. Now, we've been having many discussions offline in our group sessions, but we're going to have even more conversations in our SIMPTERVENTION and thought prevention sessions coming up here. I'm going to be opening up the opportunity for all of you to join our support group shortly here. Thought prevention designed to keep the ladies off the pole, away from the 304 culture and the modern woman mindset, and SIMPTERVENTION for men to stay mentally healthy and stay away from that disease. Like I say all the time, simping is a mental illness and no one's been diagnosed. So it's finally coming. If you want to be the first to know, make sure you click the link in the description. So I chopped it up with our brother Brian, one of my day one supporters out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He talked about this subject. Take a listen at what Brian had to say.
The term spicy is not racist. It is used quite often by those within the Latino community. It was nothing more than a deflection to what's really going on. The incident in NYC showed, undoubtedly, we have a serious problem within the society with women committing acts of heresy and violence. Right now, you have Latino, African American, Caucasian females everywhere with this modern female mindset. They're committing acts of violence and acts of complete degeneracy. And all that's happening is they're using deflections such as saying you're racist or you're bashing as a way of getting out of trouble. If we don't do something about this now, soon now, we'll live in a society where there'll be more females committing more violent acts than men. And that's not something I think the society is ready for. We all know New York City has many Latinos that identify with the African American race. We know that for a fact. Regardless of their race, modern women, especially in the black community and in the Latino community, we're living with this ratchet mindset. We believe we want to bring the hood everywhere we go. And what's going on is we've undoubtedly culturalized the hood. We've made hood and ratchet mindset the basis for black and also across the country. In our music, in our actions, in our dances, we've made the hood mentality, which I'm from the hood. I mean, I could tell you for myself, but I don't bring the mentality with me everywhere I go. My question to people is this. If you don't want to be judged, why do you bring about the worst aspects of your community everywhere you go and expect people to look at you as classy? I'll end off with this. Right now, what we're facing, plain and simple, it's a situation where we're teaching the younger generation that accountability is kryptonite. We're teaching the younger generation that basically there is no need to be accountable for your actions. And like I said before, I don't think our nation is really prepared for the type of world we're building for ourselves. I think in a few years, undoubtedly, there will be more females in prison than men.
Once again, shout out to Brian, everybody listening from Baton Rouge to Shreveport to New Orleans. And please don't ever think that the modern woman mindset is exclusive to one race, one ethnicity, or nationality. This mindset is quickly spreading all over, no matter if people would like to admit it or not. Back to Bell Fries though. So the owner, Anna Lee, the young woman, 23 years old, she called the women destructive animals for tearing up her establishment. And then she shifted over to the men. She said that she was mostly disgusted by the men in the background for not stopping the women and standing there cheering them on and laughing. In my previous video, I did say that the men shouldn't have been cheering them on, but I also said they probably shouldn't have stepped in physically, because we all know if that had happened and the men had to defend themselves, when NYPD came in, they'll be handcuffing them. But Annalise says the men should have stopped the women from acting out. These are the same independent, free women who says they can do whatever they want and they don't respect male authority. You also have to remember Ozaria, she's the one who actually punched a police officer, which is why she's still at Rikers right now. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Do you agree with the owner of the restaurant when she said that the men are the most disgusting part of the video and they should have stepped in and stopped these women? Let me know if you agree with Anna Lee below. Shout out to our brother Dark Power for always supporting the channel, as well as Shella Rodriguez. I think she's new to the channel, a new subscriber. So welcome to the channel, and I appreciate you for your support as well. Like I said before, the Latinas that support this channel, they have absolutely no problem with calling out their own and holding them accountable for bad behavior. So again, shout out to Shella Rodriguez for not only subbing to the channel but also donating. Want to see more content like this? You can support the channel too. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.